4 heads, but I heard myself talking too. And I wasn't speaking English. I was speaking in tongues. I thought it was light language when I first heard it. And she's staring at me and she's like, do you feel okay? And I go, and I said, yes, clearly. And then she said, can you understand me? And I said, yes.
Too.
Right.
And I wasn't.
All right.
There's a delay.
You're in year
Anyway, she thought I was having a stroke, but I didn't have any of the symptoms of a stroke. I just wasn't making any sense. So when I sat down and drank some more of the lemonade, I came back to normal.
So your blood sugar levels were too low.
Yeah, that's what the doctor thought too. But my friend was insisting it was a stroke and she was trying to take me to the hospital. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need to go. When I finally sounded clear, she was like, oh, you're back. And I went, yeah. I said, I told them they're balancing my insulin right now. This is probably going to happen. It's going to go too low because they're trying to figure it out, the right dose. She didn't want to hear it. She knew better. So I said, fine. I made a doctor's appointment. I made her come with me so she could tell the doctor everything that happened. And the doctor basically listened and then shut her down and said it wasn't a stroke. It was just low blood sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's still driving me a little bananas. She every day she's like, what are you doing? What's your blood sugar? How's it going? Don't overdo it. I'm like, okay, you've got to stop. This is driving me bananas. I'm not telling you anything else. So I'm glad she cares about me, but I know it's my blood sugar. It's bouncing out. This morning I tested and it was, what was it this morning? 107.
Right. Very good.
Yeah. So 8 more days, 7 more days. Whew.
The joys of
7
it.
more days at your place.
Yeah.
Well done. Hey, Kath, you're going to leave us when the workmen come. No worries. That's all good. All right. Oh. All right. Today I thought we'd do ancestral stuff. And
Cool.
removing some of the emotional charge from ancestral stuff. And we're going to do a little bit different with it. And I'm just thinking about the stuff that's encoded in our DNA and the stuff that's held in our energy field. So hang on, I better get this going again. What have I done? Hang on, now I've lost my YouTube channel. Oh, I'm having a great time today. Right, there we go. We're back together. So what I thought was, let's look at some of that work so that as we're moving forward, the energies are shifting so much and there's all this due stuff, the hurricanes, the cyclones, the fires and everything else that's going on at the moment. We need to get really clear with ourselves moving forward. So I thought ancestral stuff is really good because we need to have some clearance on some of those old patterns that have been put in our DNA and our cellular memory. So we know that with all the work that we've done with Bert Hellinger's work, that we hold the memories of our ancestors in our DNA and in our cellular memory, and also sometimes in our energy fields. Now, my girlfriend, for example, who's Jewish, she has vivid memories of being in Germany during Hitler's regime and of the persecutions that went on. So she's got very clear memories of that. She obviously had a really quick return, you know, being born again. And she still has those memories quite close to the surface, where most of us don't have that. So the whole point is that we want to take action and have ease and flow moving forward with wherever we're going and whatever that we're doing. So that as we're moving forward, we've got a lot of wisdom and we're not getting caught up in the stories of what's been going on around the planet and what's happening in our own neighborhood, because it's really up to us to stay focused on where we're going and who we're becoming. So just thinking about your choices that you've created and how your thoughts and feelings in relationship to those are coming up. So Alyssa, who's moving forward and becoming a gypsy, if you like, because she's not going to have a permanent home and she's going to go from dog sit to dog sit and stay with friends or Airbnbs. She's got a whole lot of generational stuff and family stuff that surrounds that the family are really concerned about, whereas she's stepping into her own power. So it's thinking about all those things. And for you, James, it's, you know, it's about you living the life that you want to live. But you've also got family, you've also got a partner, you've also want to create a lifestyle that's different to what you've had before. So it's a different experience. For myself, it's like, well, yes, we're this year, the end of this year, we're stepping into this really volatile period on the planet where they're going to try and reinforce things that they tried to bring in before. And now they're going to try to bring those things in again. And it's about having the emotional intelligence and the resilience to know what is true and what isn't. So having our intuition coming to the fore. So we do know through birth work that there's that basic family ecology that we have that's unconscious, that there's certain rules and contracts in family systems that are passed down through the DNA. And they've scientifically proven that it can go back 7 generations. They've done that with mice. They've also done that by just looking at memories of us humans. And we store those memories differently depending on the emotional charge that surrounded them. So if it was a particularly big memory, like we all remember, we're all old enough to remember where we were on September 11. We all remember the day we got married, or we all remember a special event. And how we code that in our body depends on whether it was a good memory, a frightening memory, a celebrationary memory, or a traumatic memory. So often we can't remember what we did last week, but we can remember what happened on that event and what emotions that we had. And traumatic memories from our ancestors are also in our field. So they're not only in our unconscious, they're in our cells, they're in our energy field, and they're also up in the superconscious, in the quantum field. And sometimes we have information or feelings or emotions that we don't know where they came from because they're part of the ancestral relationships. They're part of the ancestors' memories that are in our field. So I want to think about how we shift and change that. Normally we do family dinner tables and think about stepping in and growing younger and becoming that 4-year-old sitting around the table and looking at different family members and our siblings if they're there. But I want to do something slightly different today, as well as doing that, because I think if we're looking at our timelines and we're looking at a slightly different way, let's see if I can draw it. Bear with me. So here's the body. Here's my beautiful body. Whatever. And if we go on the Egyptian work as well, that we have all these lines going through us. So this is the past, and this is the future. So all of these lines through us on the past, if I can bring it forward again. Is that better? Right.
It is for me.
Yeah. So all these lines, we've got hundreds of lines going through us, and each one of those lines has a memory from the past, whether it's a family bloodline, whether it's multi-dimensional, interdimensional, past life, whatever. This is the past because we're always living in the past. What we're creating is the future, which is behind us and coming through us. So if we think about our choices as being sitting on our back, ready to come through, as we look at the past part of us, we're actually clearing all these to bring this through so that we're constantly choosing to be in a different state. So what I want to do is I want us to sit with knowing that even though our choices are sitting in our unconscious and self-conscious parts by the feelings and what it looks like, the structure of it, I want you to imagine that it's actually sitting just behind you, all packed, ready to come through you. Does that sort of kind of make sense? Just as a different way to look at it. It's like, okay, I've packed my bag. I'm all ready. And it's got everything that I need in that pack, and I've got it on my back. And as I move forward, I just take out whatever the next piece is, and that becomes my new reality, which then becomes stepping into that, owning it, and that is now my past. Because I'm always present. I've lost Kath, I think. Does that make sense, Kath, or not?
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
So I just want to think about it in a different way. Because it's, as I said, the past is always in front of us because we're always living it. Because we've already created it behind us, and now we're bringing it through, and there it is. And just a different way to look at it. So what we're going to do is I'll get you to think about your choice. What's a choice that you want? And the unpacking is packing it into that knapsack or whatever it is that's sitting on your back, all ready to bring out the different pieces of it. So just close your eyes for a moment and step into that choice and think about the next steps that go with that. And know that what we're creating is a new story. We're creating a new way of being and doing. And we're training our unconscious mind with these new thoughts and feelings of the success, of the joy, of the happiness of having that fun. And just asking your unconscious and your superconscious to bring through, to put in that knapsack or that pack or whatever, all the different elements that we need as we start to step forward into this new reality that we're creating. Even if we don't know what they are, we don't understand all those parts, all those action steps, our superconscious does know. And just bringing all that information and putting it in that knapsack so that it's all there every step of the way. And it's just like when you go on a hike to somewhere new, you have a map, you have your compass, you have your food, your water, whatever it is, the things that you need to support you. So that at each step you take out the map and you take your compass readings or your GPS. So you know exactly where you are and you know the direction to move forward. Because the superconscious has access to all the information that you'll ever need. And when you're ready, just coming back. And if you need to write anything down, just write it down. And when you're ready, just give me a wave to know that you're done. Well, cool. I love it. So how did that feel going through that as a different exercise? Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
It just gives us another perspective on us moving forward.
Yeah,
It's
I started
opposite.
packing my suitcases today.
Yeah. And Kath, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I'd say it's opposite to what you normally think about, isn't it? You think you look forward to move away from your past, but you're moving your past out of the way to make way for your future.
Yeah,
But it's just a different perspective.
It's moving toward, you're moving forward.
Yeah. And I keep thinking of Dora the Explorer with her little backpack full of all the full of all the stuff. She's got everything.
Yeah, I like Dora the Explorer. I enjoy that cut. It's really good.
Yeah. She's got the magic map to go forward as well. So there.
What a great analogy. I love that. I'm going to keep that one. Because it's really good. So now what I want us to do, knowing that our past is in front of us because we're living it every day. That's what we created before in a different knapsack, or we grew up with. So what I want to do now is I want to think about, we've got all these different pasts. Some of these are family pasts, some of these are multidimensional past lives. They're all different. And maybe just pick one timeline, if you like, one aspect, and ask your superconscious to bring it up, that is sabotaging or causing you to oscillate, or that appears to be blocking you from completely stepping in to that end result, that desired reality. So we're just taking it from a different perspective. So again, I just want you to close your eyes and just picture these hundreds of lines that go through you that are the past. That hold the memories of one particular aspect that is the aspect that has the biggest effect on your movement forward. The one that's sabotaging you, oscillating, keeping you stuck. You don't have to know what it is, because your unconscious mind will know and your superconscious mind will know. But I want you just to pick one of those lines. Maybe there's a couple that are intertwined. And if that's right, just go with that rope, that intertwining. And just allow your superconscious to connect into that. So superconscious, are you there? Superconscious, can you see this timeline that's causing the issues and stopping my movement forward? And even if you can't feel it, see it, detect it, knowing that it's already there. And just giving it a number out of 10 on how much resistance or oscillation or sabotage or blocking it's giving you to move forward. With 0 out of 10 being none, with 10 out of 10 being massive. And just write it down, and then we'll go on to the next step. And then we're just going to bring in the ancestors, because this is about removing emotional charge from the ancestors, from our family bloodline. And I want you again to close your eyes and just focus on that line or lines or that rope or that intertwining. And superconscious, are you there? Superconscious, can you see this connection? Can you see this beliefs and stories and emotions. Can we please access all information that's connected through the family field? And it doesn't matter if you don't remember it, see it, feel it, know it. Just know that it's there, that it's one line or a rope or an intertwining of different lines that's creating the resistance. So there's no judgment. This is just how it was and how it's been imprinted in your cellular memory. Knowing that imprinting into your DNA, into your cellular structure, into your energy field, that's always in the superconscious, so you connect to it, creates the beliefs around your current reality that keep that current reality in place, that create the sabotage because it wants to keep you safe, because that's all it's known, and it might be hundreds of years old, and things have changed completely in our world. And just think about the judgments about ourselves, about our life, about our world. And just put all of that in a bubble. And now what I want to do is I want you to bring in those family members. Doesn't matter whether they're bloodline family members or just family members that you live with. And just ask yourself, where am I in relationship to that choice, to that end result? And what am I worried about with that end result? What's my biggest fear? And how is that related to my family? What relationship does it have to my family having those fears? Is it fear of losing them? Fear of rejection? Fear of failure? Not being good enough? That's it. And now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine, and this is we're going to bring in the family dinner tables. I want you to imagine that all the family and the ancestor that has the most authority to be sitting around the dinner table. So that all parts are available, all aspects. And I want you to imagine yourself as that camera sitting on the ceiling looking down. And as you look down on the family and the ancestors, I want you to imagine there's a discussion. And the discussion is what in reality you're allowed to know. What in reality am I allowed to be? What in reality am I allowed to identify with or as? And just notice that the ancestor with the authority, talking about the trauma that they had that created the belief that was passed down to your current family that caused the resistance. And how this crossing over of knowledge and connecting it to the ancestors allows for just a shift in those beliefs, in those judgments. Just taking yourself out of that camera and imagine yourself growing younger and younger and sitting at the table as that 3 to 4-year-old. And listening in on that conversation. Listening in on the ancestors apologizing for passing down the family line, the pain and the trauma that was associated with that initial event that created that resistance, that block, that sabotaging, that part personality. And see them saying it was never my intention to pass on that trauma. It was always my intention to pass on any wisdom and knowledge. So it never occurred again. And I want you to see, imagine, feel, or sense the shift in the family sitting around the table. It's like going, ah, and releasing that belief or that story or that emotion or that sabotage or that aspect. It's like a weight being lifted off your shoulders, knowing that you've got the wisdom, the knowledge and understanding, but there's no pain associated. It means that intuitively, you know not to get into that situation because you have the wisdom. You can see intuitively an area that needs to be left behind. And just notice as you're sitting at the table how the family's demeanor, how what they're thinking, what they're feeling, their whole body shifts and changes. And see and feel the release going right back through all the generations of the family line, the masculine and feminine, all the way back to this ancestor who has the authority to shift and change the results. It just feels like a weight's being lifted, that there's more clarity and understanding that comes with having the trauma taken away. And superconscious, I want you to please tag all that information for future use and future reference. And just notice, superconscious, that that information will always be available. And please treat all the parts in the active experience right now and let them know that the treatment process gives them greater functionality, greater action, greater support. And that all the wisdom and love can now be accessed to give greater satisfaction in life, to ensure success. And just feel that shift and feel the shift in that rope or that timeline. That like it unwraps itself and it changes color. Changes shape even. And that all the steps along the way, as you move into that line, you see lots of little things, sparks, shift and change, lightening it up. And now what I would love you to do is to have that backpack on your back. I want you to bring out that map for the next step. And just notice how the map's changed. Any resistances, any thought forms, beliefs, or stories or emotions that may have been taking you off on a side road, a detour, have now disappeared. That the focus now is on a path that may not be straight, but a path that gets you to that choice, that end result. That it brings joy and happiness and success. And just notice how, as you hold the map, that your whole consciousness opens up to give you more intuition, more knowingness, more understandings. So you only have to know the next step. Even though you have the big picture of the choice, you're just following each aligned action step as you move forward. And superconscious, can you see all that? Just tag and treat. Going through all body systems. ensuring health and vitality, ensuring success, abundance, prosperity, relationships, joy, connection. And subconscious, I want you to place all of that in a beautiful protective bubble so that I always have access to it. Knowing that no matter what's going on around me, I stay connected with that choice. That I have the wisdom of my ancestors. I have intuition and knowingness. Knowing I'm protected, loved, supported, nourished. Knowing that I'm always in the right place at the right time. And that things will unfold as they need to unfold, and not necessarily in the way that I think. And subconscious, please treat and do a massive change history and everything else that's required. Ensuring that success. That's it. I want you to thank all the ancestors and the family as you leave them behind at the dinner table. As you look in that backpack and see there's more sparkles, more life, more light, more joy. As you open that backpack and it surrounds you as you become it, that choice. And subconscious, is there anything else that we need today? Superconscious, please ground it all into the matrix of the universe as you ground it all into the core of the earth, as we bring forth the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the love, the light, and the life, all the way through the great central sun, the stargate of our sun, bringing it all the way down through us, as we anchor it all into the core of the earth. So we have a continuous stream of energy supporting, loving, connecting, grounding. So it cycles through in that figure of 8, through our core, through our hearts, up and around, back down, clearing, cleansing, purifying, restoring, rejuvenating, supporting. That's it. And just taking some big, deep breaths and coming back when you're ready. And if you're watching this, just